Okay, we should be back now.
Can people hear us now?
Oh, I hope so, because this machine is really annoying me.
Right. I think we're redlining a little bit there.
Yeah, because I'm loud.
Yes,
Okay,
you are.
okay, that should be working now, so you have fun, babe.
Okay.
I'll see you later. If there's any problems, give me a call.
Right. So we're redlining a bit there. If I just move that down a little bit. We have no idea why it did that. It would appear that possibly
We do know why that happened. We worked it out. Basically, the streaming software will not add a second microphone, or what it thinks is a second microphone, once you've started recording. And since it didn't have a primary microphone, it wouldn't add the microphone in. That's what it was. We've all sorted now. Next time we should be all right right from the start, because we'll check.
Can I just say that when you said you were loud, you do realise you were talking right by my ear there.
I apologise for being deaf.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Coke, please.
Introduce yourself, please.
Hi there, everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Trying to communicate through the medium of post-it notes. Now, we're here for the Bachmann 2019 announcements. So I've got up the Bachmann Europe website. I'm just having a look. I'm going to have to... I'm not used to a Mac, so just bear with me. I'm going to reload that. There's nothing coming up yet, but I do have a backup page, which hopefully I'm going to be able to get the information from, because I think that the Bachmann website is going to go mental because the Hornby website did last week and you just couldn't get on it. So I've got a second page which is hopefully going to get the info through the trade show that's happening down in London. I think it's in London. Actually, no, it wouldn't be London, would it? No, it'd be at the Bachmann headquarters. So there's a whole bunch of journalists there, and hopefully they're going to post what gets announced, and I'm going to be able to pick up from that feed if we need it. I still have a stinking cold from yesterday. In fact, if anything, it's probably a little bit worse than yesterday. So bear with me. I'm going to be blowing my nose a lot. I may sneeze a lot too. Yeah. Oh, Rob's Trains. Welcome to you. Gremlins to right. I hate technology. Why doesn't it just work when you plug it in? Oh, back in the good old days when we used to just wind up the gramophone, everything was grand. Right, but let's have a look at the time. We've got 10 minutes to go. How's the O'Gage Garden Railway? O'Gage Garden Railway's fine. It does work. It needs ballasting, and part of the ballasting process, because it's laid onto concrete, it's a little bit wibbly wobbly at the moment, and the idea behind the ballasting is my ballasting mix for garden railways is I use kiln dried sharp sand, get a big bag of that quite cheaply. You can use it as ordinary ballast as well indoors. Works perfectly well with PVA, but if you mix it with blue circle cement powder, put it in something like an old Quality Street tin, give it a good shake, just to mix it thoroughly, and then ballast with that, then what I intend to do is try and get it under the track to level things off, because then when you wet it, it sets like cement. Just before we start on the models, this Wolfie Wolf, I've booked the XC90 to be looked at on Wednesday. We'll keep you posted. Yeah, looking forward to that. From the sound of what you're saying, my money is if you're getting low fuel rail pressure fault codes, my money is possibly, most likely, your fuel filter. It may be your fuel pump, but it's more likely to be the fuel filter. And obviously, fuel filter is far, far cheaper than a new fuel pump. And I think fuel pumps certainly on more modern cars, they put them inside the fuel tank, which makes them an absolute pain to change. So hopefully it's just the fuel filter and job will be a good one. Also have a C code that no one seems to know what it is. The internet, Google is your friend. There are Volvo fora online where you can look up a lot of this information. Oh, a C code, chassis code. It could be. I know that Volvo, the brand new Volvo trucks, give you their chassis number if you go through all of their settings. Yes, I do still have a valid current driving license for trucks. In fact, I've just renewed my driver CPC, so the card for that arrived in the post about 3 days ago, 4 days ago. I think it was on Friday. So I'm good for another 5 years. I can legally drive for that. Which is always handy. I do like truck driving, actually. It's good fun. Gets me out of the house, and I just play my tunes on the stereo really, really loudly. It's always fun to pull up at traffic lights, wind the windows down, and then play something like Holst's The Planets or Barber's Adagio for strings really loudly so that everybody can hear. It's very incongruous. I like that. Can we see you driving trucks, please? In my usual intro, you can see me driving what was a DAF CF85. I still remember its registration details. That particular truck was PJ53VDO, and it was bright red. And it was great fun to drive, actually, with the manual. I think it would have been. How many gears did that have? I think it might have been 8-speed or possibly 10-speed gearbox, but it was great fun to drive. In fact, no, it might have been more than that. I think it was 12-speed because it had splitters on every gear. But gosh, that's going back a lot. We actually filmed that. We did a film called Two Girls, One Truck, and we did that. We filmed out to QVC in Knowsley. We did a run out there. Jenny, what's your favourite DMU? I have a soft spot for Class 101s because I remember them quite fondly from my teenage years, still in regular use. I've got some photographs somewhere of Class 101s in regional railways liveries, actually still in frontline usage. But in terms of model form, I really like the Class 108. Now, I'm going to, let's have a look. Me and web page, so Control Command 8. I'm still new to this, so bear with me. Alt Command 8. So we should now have web pages coming up, and let's just have a look. I'm going to hit refresh, and let's see. No, there's nothing coming up as yet. My backup website, I'm going to hit refresh. And still nothing yet. They've frozen the Bachmann 2019 speculation thread, and some of my thoughts actually in the 5 minutes we've got before Bachmann start announcing their new range. I think that my personal feeling is that I think an outside long shot is the D class, but I suspect that's more likely to be a Hornby production, a 440 Express Southeastern and Chatham Railway locomotive. That could be in there. I'm wondering whether Bachmann might do their own version of the TTS sound chips. They've been really, really profitable for Hornby, and they've done a lot to turn around the Hornby sales. And in my opinion, and it's interesting actually, I was talking earlier today with somebody, and 4 or 5 years ago, I wouldn't have bought an awful lot of Hornby at all. I would have mostly bought Bachmann. But now I'm finding that Hornby have got themselves together so well that actually I'm buying more Hornby than I am Bachmann. Let's have a look and see. Sean Millard, why is your best, cheapest diesel and steam engine you've got for your layout? Cheapest. Probably second hand. I've bought locomotives for as cheap as, I think I got a Daypole Pug for, I think I paid a tenner for it second hand. I've got a Bachmann 3F Ginty not long after they came out from a model shop. It had a fault and the model shop couldn't be bothered repairing it, so they sold it to me for about £15, something like that. And the fault turned out to be a split plastic gear that Bachmann actually just sent me a replacement. Bachmann's spare service is very, very good. In terms of diesel locomotives, again, I got a second-hand Bachmann Class 4 diesel shunter. I think I only paid maybe £15 for that. And I do like the Class 4s, but they're an older style split chassis. DCC Pug install. I have seen people do it. I know it can be done. Zoe's left the room now, so I don't know how much of her swearing you actually caught when she was trying to get that working, but a little bit of a temper on her. I love her to bits. It's all right. It's frustrating when it comes to. Let's have a look. We go to the home page and let's see. Latest news. There's nothing coming up yet. Let's have a look. Branch line. Let's just see. For all I know, I could be on the wrong bit of the website. It's chugging a bit, but no, I'm not. Just scrolling down there. No, that's the current catalogue. So let's go back to the home page. I have a feeling that page is going to quite literally fall over the moment this things get announced because so many people will be hunting on there. DCC Pug installation. I'm probably going to use the Hornby 4-pin DCC chips. At the moment, you can get them for about £12 a pop, and they are quite small. And the thing about the Pug is there's no lighting function, so there's no sense in getting an expensive chip because you're not going to use most of the functions unless you want to sound fit it. But that really is quite a big ask to sound fit something as small as that. Probably can be done. There's probably somebody who's done it, but I'm not going to be going that route. All I need is a chip that gives me the 4-pin function. So your left and right off the track and your left and right to the motor. Excuse me. Effectively, all I'll do is I will wire that chip between the pickups off the wheels and the motor. So just snip those two wires and that then gives you your 4 ends that solder to the chip. And that's how I'm planning on doing it. I had trouble with pickup wipers. Yes, pickup wipers. Bane of our lives. Usually they're not bent enough so that if you push the wheels to one side, you'll see the pickup wiper break contact. And it's very difficult to bend them to get the spring. It's something that's always worth checking if you've got a difficult run, an erratic running locomotive. Sometimes as well you can get like a wedge of muck get stuck behind them. It's Ocean City Hygienic Cutting Edge Production. Thank you. I shall take that as a compliment. But we're all kind of winging it. There's probably quite a few people doing these sort of live streams, but you're all with me, and I'm really, really humbled that you've all chosen to come and check out the Bachmann announcements with me live as they're happening. Although nothing's really happening at the moment. It is bang on 12. I shall double check. So, yeah, it's bang on 12. So, let's just do a refresh again. I'm going to just sit here refreshing and let's just I'm just going to see if this will refresh, and it's getting longer to refresh, which probably means there's a lot of people sat there doing pretty much the same thing. In fact, there we go. I think the Bachmann website is in the process of falling over. So as you can see there, you don't see the bar at the top. No, it hasn't updated. Let me go to news. Actually, no, here we go. All right, we're in. Let's have a look. For some reason, thank you very much. My Coke has arrived. 2 Cokes have arrived, but and cold tablets. Very thoughtful, thank you. Right. The catalogues are out. We got a picture of the Class 90 in Intercity, but that's already been announced. No, the C Class is coming out in N in that livery. Let's go back to announcements. Catalogues, announcements, branch line. We've got the Class 117 and 121 EP sample update. Oh no, that's an old announcement. So far, all we've got is we've only got the catalogue. Just the website's gone really slow. I'm going to go to my backup website for this because I suspect that right. As well, 009 HKA Bogey Hopper. I'm seeing there. There's a chance that this website's going to go very, very slow as well. So I'm just waiting for that to come up. The websites have fallen over. I mean, here we go. Bagley Drury 70 horsepower diesel locomotive. This appears to be an 009. Yeah, this is for the Royal Navy Armaments Depot. This is adding to their 009 range. And there, the picture's now turned up. It's actually quite a useful little locomotive. Certainly 009 modelling is becoming quite a big deal. So that is going to be very popular, actually. So we're going to have it in Royal Navy Armaments Depot livery. And plain green, works green. We're going to get accompanying wagons. So apologies for anybody who... Oh, I like that. The Mica B. That white with the red lettering. I'm still waiting for them to bring out 00 wagons in that sort of a livery. There's a full range of wagons here, actually. And then, right, 00 scale wagons. Apologies if N-Gauge is more your kind of thing, or 009, but 00 is mine. So we've got the HKA Bogey Hopper wagon. And these, really, Hornby didn't really cater much for people who were modelling the more modern image, but clearly Bachmann are going straight in there with the HKA. We're going to have it in National Power weathered, National Power debranded, and DB Schenker livery. There's a lot of new releases of existing tooling here. And this is always a good thing. I think that sometimes the big ticket headline items of new tooling do take the limelight, but actually I'm more interested in seeing liveries for already things that are already in the range. So we've got a lot of 009 wagons, accessories, and steam locomotives here. Let's see. We're getting a rerun of the C-Class in lined green original. Now, I'm not clear whether that's going to be the simplified version that they did after the very successful fully lined out brass dome version. But we got there, 31460A. That is going to sell out, would be my guess, if that is the fully lined out version. And there's no prices coming up on this as yet. I'm seeing at the top, 503 service temporarily unavailable. Bachmann's website has fallen over, so we're going to stick with this website for the time being. I'm looking down that list. LMS Crimson Lake there for the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway Class 5 tank. I thought we'd already had that. We're getting the London Transport Pannier L94. They're always very popular. The B1 is coming back out. We're getting lined black Lake Crest and lined green, LNER lined green for that. What else in here is catching my eye? I'm going to go through and see what catches my eye, and then we'll maybe dwell on some of these others. We're getting a sound-fitted LNER A1 Tornado in BR lined green Lake Crest. That's going to come out sound-fitted. In fact, we're going to get a Jubilee. Well, we're going to get Jubilee itself in. Oh no, excuse me. Sorry, it's very gassy Coke. We're going to get Hood in BR lined green Lake Crest sound fitted. Is there any other sound fitted in that list? No, very thin on the ground. Aha, diesel and electric. Right, we're going to get BR black early emblem, class 8, BR green wasp stripes. We're going to get a sound-fitted Class 20 in BR Green Lake Crest. Headcode box, Class 20 is 2201 BR Blue. That's also going to be available sound-fitted. Loch Rannoch is back, but in its unrebuilt guise. They've done that There's a 37/4 with large logo. They're doing it again in large logo, but it's 37012. That also is available sound fitted. There's a lot of 37.5s here. Colas Freight, West Coast Rail Company Maroon. Class 40 split, head code 4142 BR Blue. Boom! Sound fitted as well. It'd be interesting to see what the sound cost for that is. Top tip for you, Hornby Do a Class 40 TTS sound chip. You can get that for about 36 quid if you can find one. So depending on price, if you want the BR Blue Class 40 there, with sound, it might be worth getting the unsound fitted and fitting the TTS in that. We're getting the Class 46 in BR Blue, sound fitted option, that 46020. 47, we are getting Rail Freight, BR Blue large logo, two-tone green, small yellow panels. Just looking down, this was predicted, the Class 55 Deltic. Somebody did say that with competition on the horizon, Bachmann might go for a final hurrah for their Deltic model, squeeze it for every penny they can. So we're getting King's Own Scottish Borderer, BR two-tone green, again with or without sound available. BR Blue is Meld 55003. I'm surprised actually that they're only doing 2 variants. I thought there was going to be more. So interesting. Class 66, we've got quite a few of those, with and without sound. It'll be interesting to see the price brackets on those, because they're going to be going head to head with the new Hatton's 66, and I know that there's probably a bit of bad blood knocking about there. Class 85, I'm only seeing one version here in BR Electric Blue. That's probably because the Rail Blue with the tops number did get remaindered, so probably wasn't a good seller. Derby Lightweight is back, is in BR Green. Class 101, also sound fitted options of those. Class 150, available with and without sound. Brian will be very pleased with those. 158, interesting. That's on a 31 catalogue to right, big news, big ticket news. Class 158, 159, shown here as sound fitted. That means it's finally got a retooled chassis. We're getting the Class 205 in the main range. 416, 411 has reappeared. 419 as well. The 411 actually is going to be very expensive. We're getting the green with small yellow panels and the BR Blue Grey. That is going to be well over the 200 quid mark. SECR birdcage coaches reappearing in Wellington Brown. Not really quite sure what that is. But that's welcome for all of those who model pre-grouping. We're getting... interesting. We're getting a few interesting govs here. General Utility Van, BR Blue Property Broad. The CCT in the main range. We're getting... I'm just looking down. A whole load of the Royal Mail letters. Rail Express Systems. BR Blue Grey. West Coast Rail Company coaches. Mark II's in Virgin livery, West Coast Rail livery. Just looking down. ScotRail with the Saltire. Looking at the double O gauge wagons now, big news. They announced that the Prestwind twin silo wagon is being put back. That is a disappointment because the Prestwind silo wagon was one that I was waiting for. You've got plenty of time to save up for these because, quite frankly, Bachmann tend to announce early. We could be this time next year before we see some of these, if not longer. We've got, let's have a look. Shunters trucks back. We're getting one plank wagon GWR grey with AF container. If that's the one plank wagon rather than the conflat, I don't think that has appeared in that livery in the catalogue before. Yet more China clay wagons. They are the wagon. They are the wagon that keeps on giving. Actually. Interesting. 37935 right there at the top. Three plank wagon in Southern Railway brown. I do like my Southern Railway wagons. The LNER vent van and fish vans are back. Interesting. 33182A, 10-ton covered salt wagon, snowdrift salt green, weathered. Now, I have the unweathered version that was in the catalogue probably about 10 years ago nearly, and it's one of my favourite wagons. It's just that green I really like. So I'll be interested to see how that turns out in the weathered green and whether they've remembered to change the running number. Whole load of conflats with the different containers. Excuse me. We've got mineral wagons reissued. They're always a good little earner. I'm looking down here. I'm trying to see if there's any really stand out wagons. We've got the 12-ton ventilated van, plywood doors, BR Bauxite Early, ICI. I'd be interested to see what that comes out as. GWR Shunters Truck, BR Departmental Black. That could be pretty good. Pillbox brake vans back. We got the Class B tankers. Another five plank China clay wagon, 3-wagon pack, BR Bauxite Early with tarpaulin covers. If they keep selling, they'll keep making them, and they're not a bad little wagon, actually, to be honest with you. Press flow cement wagon, blue circle cement, yellow. Anybody who wants to model Avonside, the cement works that was there near Bristol Avonside. Those are the wagons that I've seen in all the photographs for that. It's a really nice, interesting, industrial, urban line. Well worth a model. Sadly, no longer with us. Jenny, what website are you using? I'm on RM Web, actually, because I knew that the Bachmann website was going to fall over. So it's just rmweb.co.uk, and they're very, very good with getting these announcements out, and they've got the bandwidth that, generally speaking, once you're on the thread, you can scroll through it like this, and it doesn't matter now if that gets inundated. We're going to get a lot of the 22-ton tube wagon... 27-ton steel tippler, BR Bauxite tops stone traffic. Now, it has appeared as the MSV before in the brown, but the underframe didn't have any vacuum cylinders on, so I don't know whether they'll rectify that fault. Steel sand tippler, BR Bauxite departmental weathered. We're getting 12-ton plank ventilator van with plywood door, BR departmental rail stores. I really do like the departmental wagons. Still not published, I think. Oh, so the Bachmann website is not tickety-boo. So great, stay with me. I've got all the inside track here. The FNA wagon is back. CEA covered hopper load haul weathered. Haven't seen that in the catalogue for quite some time. They were available previously, but that's on a 38-021A code, which means that's the retooled chassis. We're getting the Limpet in load haul and plain grey. BRA's back, another CEA there, an EWS unbranded. RBA van, DB cargo, 37-608. That is intriguing me. On a 37 code, R means it's a barrier wagon, so it's probably a VBA being used as a barrier wagon. Scenecraft, let's have a look. Interesting. Accessories there. 6-pin DCC loco decoder with back EMF featuring Railcom. Not sure what Railcom is. I'll have to Google that later. Looking down here, as good mix there. Full road engine shed. I can see that being A, expensive, and B, popular. Let's have a look. Scenecraft. 009 buildings. Actually, anybody who's looking to do anything like a Welsh slate quarries type railway, the wagons, the locomotives, they're all turning up from Bachmann, and now the buildings. So actually, I can see they are going to. I don't know. What does that say? Take heed. I have no idea. Let's just try the Bachmann site again. See, because the Bachmann site may have pictures, which is one of the reasons that I want to try and go there. Let's see. Somebody's asked. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's a few new things, but I think a lot about this is it's not the big wowing that the Hornby catalogue releases had. It's actually all about um, clearing the backlog. There's a lot of locomotives and wagons that we've been waiting and waiting for, and I think Bachmann are trying to clear that backlog. There's no point in actually trying to announce things if they don't get to market. So, it's a consolidation announcement. There are some reliveries in there. Let's have a look. DJ Models BT Well Tank. Yes, I do have the BT Well Tank from a little while ago, actually. Back when it was Daypol who were producing it. Let's have a look. There's some pictures here are coming in. We're basically beholden to, this is Phil Parker from BRM taking snaps and feeding them back to this website. So, as it says here, please bear in mind that Phil may have a rather different interpretation as to what's interesting than we do. Let's have a look. Chopper is 50. What is this? This is the Toyway Chopper Mark 1. This appears to be, oh wow. Did anybody else have one of these as a kid? I had a hand-me-down one. I'm going to sneeze in a moment. Hold on. Oh, this cold is terrible, so do please excuse me. But yeah, I had a hand-me-down chopper, so I didn't get it new. But yeah, with the gear lever on the cross member, oh, it does take me. Orange and purple. Oh yes, quality 70s colours. Yeah, bruised pair of oh, oh yeah, Peter. If you hit something and slid off the seat, you'd end up like oh. As Austin Powers would say, oh, right in the plums. Let's have a look. What is all of this? Let's have a look. Oh, this is a bit of an overview here. The changing retail climate, increased competition across multiple sectors, 2018 proved to be challenging. Yes, I suppose it did. Ultimately, successful year for Bachmann. Blah, 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 blah. Let's have a look. Despite the closure, yeah, they had a closure of one of their factories in China, which has kind of slowed them down a bit. But let's have a look. Yeah, it's talking about a lot of wagons have been delivered. Yeah, the 22-ton plate and bolster wagons, they did those for TMC. I managed to pick up one of those at Wally. I've done a box opening and review on that. They've got the Mark 1 horse boxes made it to the main range. Right, somebody was asking about the N-gauge stuff. So that'd be Graham Farish. Okay, well, hold on. Let's go and see if I can find Graham Farish. Let's have a look. Graham Farish. I don't know where it would be. Just scroll. Can't see it for looking. Let's have a look. Looks like you're going to get the Parrot wagon. So we're on with. Oh, hold on. I look at the light because I'm photoreactive. It's something that 5% of the population are blessed with, and it basically means you look at a bright light, you sneeze. Normally I wouldn't. Oh. What are you doing there, Fred? Cat's in. Oh, don't fail me now. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, I think a lot of people bust their bits on the gear lever. Oh, thank you. What is my favourite Bachmann NRM locomotive? It has to be the Robinson 8K in full Great Central Railway livery. Right. Have I ever thought about going on Mastermind? Cat camp. This cat is not a friendly cat. If I try and pick this cat up, I will be scratched to death. So let's have a look. So I'm not going to do it. Right. Somebody asked about Graham Farish. New tooling for War Department 40-ton Parrot bogie wagon. They were announced for 00, but I've not seen them yet. You're also getting the HKA bogie hopper as well. That's going to be flagship locomotive. Sound upgrades for existing models. 00 model shown, no kidding. So actually, in N-gauge, yeah, in N-gauge, that's quite an achievement. You've got the Class 14. Now, the Class 14 is something Helgen did it in 00. I've got one. They're very prone to falling apart, and they're quite expensive. They were done as an exclusive, at least initially, for Hattons. But in N-gauge, you lucky people, you just got a Bachmann, a Graham Farish run-of-the-mill one. So you didn't have to pay an arm and a leg, and I think yours is a little bit more reliable than the 00 ones. You're getting a Class 60, again, sound upgrades. I think there's never been a better time to go sound fitted, and in many ways, yes, I know. A bit like ex-smokers are the worst people for banging on about how you should give up smoking, but ex-DC people are probably the worst for banging on about how you should go DCC. Have I got a 3700 City class? City of Truro. I don't have the National Railway Museum City of Truro model, but I do have City of London in Great Western Green, with the sort of the really ornate crest on the tender. It's a lovely locomotive, I have to say. You get a sound fitted Class 101, Class 150. And then a whole load of new releases off existing tooling. So it's at 24, 37, 40, 42, 47, 55, 57, 66, 101, 150, 220. Again, reliveries for all your coaches, N-scale wagons, a lot of reliveries. Just looking down this list. Buildings again, a lot of reliveries, not a lot of new models. I think basically your new models are your Parrot Wagon and your HKA. So I'm going to go back to the Bachmann releases. Again, this may be a little bit slow. Let's have a look. No. Blooming Matador websites. Ole! And then everything moves. Let's have a look. Gina, Sterling single by Locomotion Rapido. I think, in a word, money. It's very expensive. It is one that I'm quite interested in, but it's just quite simply the cost for the Sterling single. The caffeine does help, so medicinal purposes. And I'm doing dry January, so unfortunately, I can't have my medicinal whiskey, which is a shame. But I'm going to stick at this. Right, let's see. Right, where are we? Boom, ba-doom, boom, bish, bash, bosh. New releases. Bum, bum, bum. So, yeah, let's go back to the Bachmann website. And let's see if we can get some pictures to go with these. In all honesty, part of the problem is that we've got a huge list of things without pictures to put it into context. Whilst that's doing that, there was another thread here. Let's have a look. This may have updated. So what I'm going to do... that has not been updated. So I'm afraid they're the chopper picture. Just put it there for a moment. And for some reason, the servicing point from Scenecraft appears to be the only things that we've had pictures come back through. That is chugging. So I think that may fall over. So what are we going to do? I think we should talk about, really, Bachmann getting back on track. They had a problem, as I said before, one of their manufacturing plants was forced to shut down, something to do with redevelopment from the Chinese government. It happened sooner than they were expecting, so they then had the double whammy of not only did they lose production from that particular factory, but they had to pull in staff from the other two factories I think they had to enable them to quickly move equipment and stock, things like that, that were in the factory that they were suddenly finding themselves having to vacate. So that impacted production elsewhere. They are trying to get back on track from that, but that's one of the reasons why we're not seeing quite a few of the things that were announced last year. For example, the J72, which I think I can't remember its original Northeastern Railway designation. It's an E. I wanted to say E1, but it might not be an E1, but certainly known by its later J72 um, designation. We're still waiting for those. I think a lot of people sold up their old split chassis models that had been in the catalogue from going way, way back. In fact, I've got a book from the 1970s, the Model Maker's Handbook, and in that it has the original, I think it was mainline models of that very locomotive in there from the same moulds. Had a slightly chunkier chassis, but the same lid on the top. A lot of people sold those up, so eBay and that became flooded with second-hand J72s, but we still haven't seen the new ones, so we're still waiting on those. What else? They also announced the Parrot wagon, the War Department Parrot wagon in 00, still not seeing that. The Prestwind Silo wagon, they've already announced that that's been pushed back. So, really, I think this year they need the consolidation to get back on track. We do have a few Scooby snacks of the HKA for the modern image people, which will be most welcome, I suspect, because Hornby didn't really cater for the modern image people. So Bachmann's come through with that. Reliveries, I don't mind reliveries. A lot of people say, oh, we want to see new big ticket items, but quite often when a new item is released, it's not in the liveries you may want, so the reliveries are really useful for getting you the wagons and the locomotives in a livery that suits you. I was very lucky with the Hornby Peckett that the first production run of those included the Manchester Ship Canal number 11. But if that had come in a subsequent release, then it would have been very, very welcome for me. As it is, I know a few people who've ordered up the W4 Peckett in some of the other liveries that have been announced because it was the model that they really, really wanted. So re-liveries are good. I'm still waiting for the rail operating division version of the Robinson 8K. That was announced in London and North Western Railway livery and ROD livery. We still haven't seen either of those. In fact, I still haven't even seen a photograph of test shots or anything of those, or livery mock-ups. All we've got is a very grainy black and white photograph of the London and North Western Railway one, which really doesn't give you any information about its livery at all. And then there's a photograph of one of, I believe, the surviving ROD Robinson 8Ks that's in Australia. There's two out there. Neither are in running condition, but they're there. One of them was painted in the Rod livery. Wolfie Wolf, take care of yourself. Yeah, don't look into the light. Well, I need to look into the light when I need to sneeze. It's sort of like charges up my sneezing mechanism. But good to see you. Look, you take care. I know a lot of people are possibly rushing back to work. It being a Monday. It's Monday, it's lunchtime. I think Bachmann would have been much better off perhaps doing this on maybe a Saturday. I don't know. There's probably reasons for it being on a Monday. After all, they are a business, and businesses tend to work Monday to Friday. So it's proving difficult for a lot of people to be able to tune into all of this. Certainly, you can go back and watch the live stream at a later point. I know we had a false start with the sound and everything, but we're back on track. Let's see. Has the Bachmann website updated? It really hasn't, you know. So let's see if we can I'm just seeing if there's... oh, it's so slow. There is nothing... Let's have a look. The imminent arrival of catalogues. All they're talking about is the catalogues. And in all honesty with you, the catalogues, yeah, nice to see a picture, but I want to actually see what's in it. Let's have a look. I'm going to go see if there's any more pictures come through. Yeah, let's have a look. Bachmann are currently experiencing website issues, you think, due to server load. It's being investigated by patients who require... Yes. RM Web's doing all... Oh, it's... If any of you were on RM Web, you will notice this time and time again, that the threads descend into into all sorts of silliness. So let's have a look. Sid James on a chopper, eh? Ooh. Oh, I say. Oh, my word. Anyway, sorry. Sidetrack. Let's see if... I'm not used to Mac mouse and keyboard, so just bear with me here. Yeah, the Bachmann website's fallen over again. Close to midnight in Australia. Gosh, on a school night as well. Let's just... that's going to load up in a moment. I think I was wise to pick a backup website because the Bachmann website is just falling apart. I'm just going to see what people are saying. Yeah, diesel and electric modelers have the same locomotive with or without sound. Now, I'm surprised that Bachmann haven't done their own version of TTS. As I said right at the very beginning, it's been incredibly successful for Hornby. They've expanded that range, and they know as well as anybody else that a lot of these chips that they're selling, they're not going into Hornby locomotives. They're going into Bachmann ones, so they're cleaning up. People aren't buying the sound-fitted Bachmann 20s because, quite frankly, why would you when you can get a really good sound chip for a fraction of the price? And now that they're offering these diesel and electric locomotives, the same livery of them with and without sound, I'll be honest with you, they're making a rod for their own backs for certainly the Class 40s and the Class 20s. People are just going to go for the Hornby TTS chip. It's exactly what I'm going to do if I go that way. Let's have a look. Yeah, the SECR C-Class and all its lined finery. I haven't seen a picture of that C-Class. I know a lot of people really were gutted that they missed out the first time round when Bachmann brought that out. I'll just put that down there by the bin. Because... it sold out so quick, very popular. It still commands a very high second-hand price, not being repeated by Bachmann, although they did do the simplified livery, which didn't sell anywhere near as quickly. So there's a lot of people hoping that is the fully lined out version. So I'm just waiting to see if a picture comes through to show what livery that... Oh, I can hear this sort of... It sounded like electrical... like crackling noise, and you've got a short in something, but it's just the bubbles in this. I'm just getting over a sore throat, so if I sound very husky, and that's because of that. And part of the problem is that the more I talk, the more it hurts. So, it's the cross we have to bear. So I hope you appreciate that I'm straining my voice to be here doing this. I'm just looking down to see if anybody else has got any other inside track. Yeah, the 158.159 update. Interesting that's coming out as sound fitted. When are we going to see these? This is always the great problem from Bachmann. They announce stuff and then you wait, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Hornby announced stuff and it's coming out. It's hitting the shops within a matter of weeks or months because of completely different strategy between the two companies. And I have to say, I think I prefer the Hornby strategy where they don't announce stuff until they're well on the way to producing it. And I think that whilst some people would argue that the Bachmann model gives you plenty of time to save up, I would say that the Hornby model does mean that you're not waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and I don't like waiting as much as the next person. So personally, even though it can get very expensive very quickly, I prefer the Hornby method of announcing things only when they're about to be released. That said, I think Bachmann have brought items to the market in great secrecy before now. Stuff has just turned up, so they've proven that they can do it. And it might be nice to actually see that whether some of these re-livery announcements will turn up quite quickly. It's going to be a very expensive year if a lot of this stuff is coming out fairly quickly, because it's going to be coming out at around the same time as some of the offerings that Hornby have announced. And as I said last time, I think I've got about £2,000 worth of pre-orders on Hornby stock alone from what they've just announced. And we're still to get the Oxford Rail announcements. Dredging my memory, I think it's the first day of the London Toy Fair that they historically announce what they're going to bring out for the year. And that, I believe, is the 22nd of January. So that's when we're going to get the Oxford Rail announcements. So there may yet be even more stuff to actually add to the list of things we've got to save up for. I'm just really glad that A, I've got a reasonable job, and B, I don't have children, because children are very expensive. And I know this because I have two sisters who have multiple children between them. And yeah, children are very expensive. mm. Don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have had children. Don't get me wrong, I love children as much as the next person, but I could never eat a whole one. Let's have a look. The growth of stuff in 009. Now, 009 narrow gauge is not something that is really my bag. It's always been considered a bit of a niche thing, and that's possibly because of the absence of a lot of ready-to-run stuff until Pico started bringing out the Linton and Barnstable coaches and wagons, and I think that really kicked things off. Helgen then brought out the was it Lynn, the Linton and Barnstable 262, and then we on top of that we started getting the stuff through from Bachmann, and all of a sudden it went from zero to hero. And I think that what you've got to remember is that a lot of newer houses have space is a big issue for a lot of people. New houses are quite often nicknamed rabbit hutches because they are built smaller and smaller. This house was built in 1927, and as a result, the rooms are quite spacious. So we're very, very lucky that I've got the space here. I know we use a shed in the garden, but I've got a garden to have a shed in. People with more modern houses, space is a massive issue. So things like 009 has the advantages of stuff like N-gauge. And if anything, 009 has bigger advantages over N-gauge insofar as the really, really tight curves are perfectly prototypical. So you could arguably have much tighter curves than you could in N-gauge. And that all boils down to you can make an incredibly small layout, even one within the confines of a suitcase. And it makes it easy to store, easy to be portable. And it means you can have a fully functioning model railway within the constraints of space. Any news of the V2? Not seeing anything. Let's have a look. I'm going to have another bash at... Let's just go... Let's have a look. I'm just going to go back to... there's... Are there any other... Now, we get a lot of 009 new announcements, but yeah. Let's go back and check out. Let's just get to. You would have thought that having seen Hornby's website fall over under the weight of people trying to look at the new announcements, that Bachmann would have upped the amount of bandwidth they had available in anticipation of today. But maybe they have. In fact, almost certainly they have, just by not enough. The Bachmann. I think it's going to load. Let's have a look. Oh, good afternoon. Let's have a look. I'm just having a quick look down your comments whilst we've got a moment. Wolfie Wolf, I'm sitting here in awe. Who knew someone could know as much about model rails as you? I'm quite amazed if you ever... Oh, actually, no, I did answer that, yeah. Cat, yeah, because there's the cat cam. The cat. Cat's gone. I think the cat has become bored with the sound of me and my hoarse voice. Again, we've got... talking about the catalogues. Let's try again for the branch line website. Really, it's a shame in a way that we're not getting pictures here. I'm going to go back to that other thread. DT Head, will we see more live broadcasts now? Yeah, now that we're kind of working out how to do them, I think this is quite a good format. I like it, and I think quite a few people seem to be liking it. Let's just have a look. No, there's no new pictures turning up. Hold on one moment. Hello? Oh, hi, how are you doing? Is it the N7? Yeah, yes, that's the one. Oh, brilliant. Okay, no problem. Well, I'll try and pop in later in the week. Oh, that's brilliant. Thanks very much for that. Thanks. See you later. Bye. Oh, I'll just stop in a live broadcast to take a phone call. That was actually Tim from Arcadia Models in Shaw, and I no real connection with Arcadia Models, other than I'm a satisfied customer, and that was Tim just phoning to tell me that the Oxford Rail N7 in Great Eastern Railway wartime grey, I think it's number 1002. It's just come into stock today. He's just had the delivery. So if that is a model that you were waiting for, I know it's neither Bachmann nor Hornby, but it's just hit the shops today. Well, certainly it's hit Arcadia in Shaw today. So he's going to put one by for me. It's interesting. I didn't realise my phone was set to silent, but there we go. So yeah, it's a shame that we're not getting pictures. And I mean, have a look. Let's see actually if we can get a picture of the, I think it's the C class, the Southeastern Chatham Railway C class. That is probably going to be the highlight of the reliveries, certainly for a lot of people, because they missed out the first time round. But bear in mind, if it is a relivery from the... Yeah. Rob Farrell, hi, just received my Oxford Rail N7. How does it run? I have to ask, because I've not really seen it in the flesh. Mine, as you probably just watched me taking a phone call quite rudely in the middle of a live stream, has just turned up at the model shop that I ordered it from. So I won't get my hands on that until probably be Wednesday morning, first thing. I'll be able to pick that up. But we're just waiting here on the Bachmann website to load. So we're going to see if it comes back up. I've gone into the main catalogue now, if that comes up, and hopefully that might have some pictures. That's really all we're waiting for now, in the absence of too many big ticket new items. But I think this is it's going to be very slow today. So, let's have a look. Do we dare change the sorting by? Let's go price high to low. Let's try it. Yeah. Chorley Junction. Afternoon to you too. Hello, and nice to have you along. Oh, we have visitors here.
Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah. Is there a problem?
I need some batteries.
Do you? Yeah.
Bye.
See you later. She's putting on her posh voice. So, oh, hello. And it's like, that's not the commoner's muck voice we normally get. Has that finished sorting? No, it's not. Still got the spinny beach ball of doom at the top. Rob Farrell, I haven't got it out of the box yet. We'll be getting it running out on my layout shortly. Well, I'm very interested, actually. I saw the Oxford Rail N7 in the cabinet at Worley. It features I think it's in part 2 of my Worley videos, where I went walkabout. So I've had an eye on it since it was released. I'm always a sucker for pre-grouping liveries. I don't know what it is about them. I have got such a massive collection of pre-grouping, ready-to-run models. So really, when they announced that in that livery, I thought, yeah, I got to have that. Right, let's have a look. Are they in the list yet? Gosh, they're getting expensive. Look at that, £274.95 for Zeebrugge in Great Central Railway, lined green and maroon. That's with the sound. And this is where a TTS chip for Bachmann locomotives, I think they do quite well to try and bring those prices down. Oh my word! I didn't realise actually quite how expensive the Atlantics are at full RRP, but I'm not seeing. Yeah, I must admit, actually, Don Antonio, I think it's meant they still make us pay for catalogues in this day and age. Well, the catalogues are quite expensive. They were, last time I saw one, I think it was about a tenner. And it was a lot of money, really, for a catalogue. A lot of other places just hand you the catalogue for free. Not model railway stuff, but certainly, if you go to if you go into a carpet shop, they'll just hand you catalogues. So yeah, it's they do it because they can, I suppose. GNR Class C1 Atlantic. Have you got any Japanese locos? No, I don't. I have in my collection, well, I say in my collection, at my parents' house, I have some French locomotives made by Hornby HO, which was the sort of the continental counterpart to Hornby 00. And they date back to the 60s. They're lovely models, actually. They really showed the kind of quality that was being made, even back then. And I've got there's like a Bobo, I think is it an electric loco? It's that long since I've seen it out of the box. And a very, very light, almost like minty green. And it's a beautiful runner. And then I've got a little 060 diesel shunter as well, which actually has directional lights, which, for the 1960s, it just showed how far behind some of the rest of the world, Britain's models actually were. But I don't have any Japanese locos. I'm not really that familiar with the Japanese railway scene. Obviously I know about the Shinkansen bullet trains. But other than that, I'm not really that up on what they have or what they don't have. Yeah, I'm looking down here. There's this. This is what I talked before about the rail operating division, London and North Western Railway locomotive. I'm just circling the mouse pointer. Hopefully you can see my mouse pointer. If not, I'm talking gibberish at you. All we've got is this rather sort of faded out photograph in black and white. It's very hard to tell anything about the livery on that. This is more enlightening. And in fact, it's interesting. I recognise that very photograph because that photograph appeared in a TV treatment that I was privy to. And it's actually that very photograph. So it's interesting to see it turn up here as well. Such is the way of the internet. Let's have a look. No, there's nothing turned up yet on the Bachmann site. It's a little bit disappointing because, quite frankly, I would love to see some pictures of some of these things. What Oxford Rail locos have I got? I've got the Adams Radial. That's all I've got. I've got it in the London and South Western Railway livery from when it first came out. They beat Hornby to the market, and I think what that showed is something that, if Hornby hasn't taken note of this, and certainly Dapol as well, then they're on a hiding to nothing. Essentially, whoever gets to the market first, and I'm thinking about the Terriers in this one, really is the winner. Because in this day and age, people don't want to wait. So they will buy the first model that comes along, as long as it's of a reasonable standard. And whoever gets to the market second, especially if there's quite a wait, is going to struggle. And with the Oxford Rail, with the Adams Radial, Oxford Rail got to the market a good deal before Hornby. In fact, I think the second versions of the Oxford Rail, Adams Radials with like the East Kent Railway liveried one, things like that, were actually coming to the market, as Hornby brought theirs out. And because of the way that, I think it's only 3 of these locomotives survived quite late, all the others were early withdrawals, it meant that the liveries were duplicated, the identities were certainly duplicated, and I think the Hornby Adams Radial suffered quite greatly for being second to the market. So there's now going to be quite a race on, and it wouldn't surprise me if you see both Dapol, Stroke Rails and Hornby pulling out all the stops to get their Terriers to the market as fast as is humanly possible. So my prediction is that we're going to see those Terriers within, certainly within the year. They will be delivered within the year, and you may even see them within 6 months. It's not clear how far on either party are in making them. Certainly the Hornby models, the pictures looked good, but then I'm told that they were actually photoshopped from the CADs, so they may not be as much to see as that would give the illusion of. So all to play for, I suspect. But hey, right, I'm going to go back and have a look. Just going to refresh this page, see if any other pictures have come through from their man in. Let's have a look. What is this? Cobbles. It seems Proses, who Bachmann distribute in the UK, are making plastic sheets. These look very interesting. You should be able to see them on your screen now. These look to be embossed plastic, but as you can see there, a rub over with something like even just a soft pencil is really bringing out the detail in those, so that that road surface, I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more about that. That looks quite interesting. Just a shame he's not quite so trigger happy with his camera. Did they send the wrong person? Right. Let's go back to the other thread for a moment. Let's go back. I think we're going to be struggling for photos. We're in a Bachmann announcement news vacuum. In all honesty, unfortunately, um, it without pictures. I can't really comment greatly on liveries. I'm going to get back to the list. Let's just right. OO gauge steam locomotives. It's interesting that there's only two. Yeah, two in that list that are coming out sound fitted. And I'm just looking down there. Yeah, we're not seeing some of the locomotives that they've released sound fitted in the past, like for example the 3F Ginty. I'm not seeing in that list, but they have produced that in a sound fitted version in the past. Let's have a look. Unknown Warriors in that list. I think that's the new build locomotive. The 9F is coming out with a BR1F tender and a BR1B tender. Let's have a look. There's not really any standout liveries in that. In all honesty with you, looking down the list of steam locomotives, we're looking at liveries that have been out time and time again, and it's. I don't know how. There's only so many liveries for steam locomotives, but there are a number which I would have liked to see from Bachmann, which we're still waiting on. It has to be said. The LMS Ginty, but in the early black livery, early LMS livery, and that's the one with the big number across the tanks. It doesn't say LMS, it's just got like a I think it's like 16 something 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 number. They have in the past done as a special commission one in maroon, and that was I'm trying to think, was that a London Toy Fair exclusive, or was that a Cheltenham Model Centre exclusive? I have a feeling it was a Cheltenham Model Centre exclusive. It's long since sold out, but it was a very nice livery, but that was in maroon rather than the plain black. And I don't think we've seen the plain black early LMS livery on that, and I would have liked to have seen it. The other thing as well is I think on the main range, I do think that more industrial locomotives and the quick and easy way of getting industrial locomotives out there, and they will sell if like the Pecketts and the Sentinels from Hornby or anything to go by, or the Barclays from Hattons, and Hattons have done their P class in the liveries that some of those locomotives were sold out of service into industrial liveries. So there's the Robertsbridge flour mill livery, things like that, and also is it Pioneer 2? Did that work at Sheerness Docks? I could be wrong on that, but we've yet to see any more Ginties coming up in industrial liveries. So I'm watching somebody doing something really weird in a bright yellow van. They're reversing through the pedestrianised area at the back of us. They found a gap in the bollards, and they're just reversing. It must be something like a phone engineer. That's what one assumes. But the other one is the pannier tanks. I've seen a number of pannier tanks that were sold out of service to the NCB. Now, Model Zone did a special commission model of one in green. I can't remember for which colliery, but certainly this morning when I was looking at some photographs online, I found, I think it's Mardy Colliery, had a pannier that was painted in a maroon colour, and I've seen no trace of that. And these are easy reliveries for Bachmann to bring out something a bit different. And aside from the London Transport panniers, we've got L94 there turning up. We don't see any of these post-BR service locomotives sold out of service. I'm trying to think what other locomotives that Bachmann do that were sold out of service to be used as industrial locomotives. I suppose there's the Well, it was done in conjunction with Model Rail magazine, the USA Dock Tank. If that reaches the main range, I'd like to see more of the. I think the NCB had a number of those. Model Rail did release one in the NCB Black. We've got Chorley Junction trying to log on to Bachmann's site, but keeps getting server 503 saying it's temporarily unavailable. Yes, on the backup website that I'm using, there is a mention that Bachmann's website's fallen over. They've got server issues due to unexpectedly high demand. I guess they didn't learn from Hornby's experiences a week ago where their server kept falling over. But what other industrial locomotives? I'm sticking actually now thinking about other locos that were sold into private service after BR. I think the Ginty and the Pania are probably the two main ones. USA Dog Tank, well, it's still a Model Rail exclusive, so don't worry about that one too much. Hornby actually as well haven't explored that much. Still waiting to see the ex-Lancashire and Yorkshire Pug in a I think it's St Helens Glass, a private owner livery. There were some of them that were sold out of service. But when we come to the diesel locomotives, Class 8s, they seem loath to do them in industrial liveries. I would have liked to have seen the Class 8s, and also, I mean, the Class 8 can double as a Class 10 or a Class 11 reasonably easy. I know there's some people who would be spinning on their keyboard going, oh no, heresy, heresy. But I'm sorry, I'm just reading some of the comments coming in. Have we got any Thomas and Friends locos? No, I don't. Sorry about that. Yes, the Bachmann website has fallen over. I don't think it actually was up to start with. As soon as the announcements were supposed to be made, it just fallen over. The few times I've been able to get onto it, the most I can get is about the catalogues. So you can see here the copy which came up in between the lull. But I'm going to try and reload it. It may fall over, it may not. Excuse me. But really, I'm using a backup website, which I've got the list, but no real photographs apart from if I scroll back to the top. These are for the 009 models, and they do look nice. That's your big ticket 009 model, the Bagley Drury 70 horsepower diesel shunter. So that's your big ticket 009 release, but there's still plenty of other wagons. So tooling, the brake van for the Royal Navy Armaments Depot. Baldwin 590 in maroon. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yeah, line maroon with sound fitted. In fact, I don't know. Can you actually see my mouse pointer? I'm assuming you can see my mouse pointer slowly circling the sound fitted there with the Baldwin tank. Welsh Highland Railway lined maroon sound fitted. That is an interesting one. That I think is going to sell quite well. It depends on price. That's the other thing which I've not been able to get any information on. I haven't got any information on the price. Let's have a look. Let's have a look down there. We're getting a lot of stuff suitable for War Department-y type stuff. But no, anyway, but to go back to industrial locomotives, easy industrial locomotive releases, and certainly to complement a lot of the other stuff that's been released of late from other manufacturers, the Class 8 will also, at a pinch, release as a Class 10 and a Class 11. The Class 12 you can't have because once you see it, you can't unsee it. The wheels, the box pox wheels that the Class 12 had, it's a dead giveaway that it's a Class 12 and not Class 8, 9, 10 or 11. But certainly a lot of these were sold out of service to National Coal Board and British Sugar, I think, had some. And there would be other places that they went to. And I've never seen them released from Bachmann, or Hornby for that matter, but certainly not from Bachmann. And I think that that's an easy relivery release, which I'm surprised that we haven't seen. The Class 3 Shunter is another one. A lot of them were sold out of service. And whilst they did announce a Class 3 in black, NCB livery, still not seen it. Class 4 as well, but we're still waiting for the retooled chassis for the Class 4. But there's certainly a lot of industrial liveries for those that are an open goal for them. Class 20s as well being used as super shunters. Ribble Cement, I believe, may have used one, if not two, Class 20s as shunters on their works branch. So these are all options which I'm surprised that we still have not seen. Have I got any London Underground stocks? No, I don't. I'm not really a big fan of London Undergroundy stuff. Let's back that truck up. I've got the Metropolitan Railway Sarah Siddons type locomotives. It's not actually Sarah Siddons. I think it's John Hampton, and I can't remember what the other one's called. I've got two of those in the Metropolitan Railway livery, the Metropolitan Vickers Bobo electric locomotives. And that was simply because they pushed the Oh Shiny button, and Metropolitan Railway is technically a pre-grouping railway company, so it ticked the boxes there. And I do have a London Transport pannier tank. I can't remember which one. It might be L92 from Bachmann. Along with I've got it came from the Midnight Metropolitan set. So I've got the 3-plank open wagon in London Transport Grey and the guards van as well. It did come with a 16-ton mineral wagon, but that just sort of disappeared into the drawer with all the 16-ton mineral wagons because there was no distinguishing features for that to mark it out as a London Underground registered wagon as opposed to just being an ordinary BR one. Right, let's see what's new. There is nothing coming up on the Bachmann website. Yeah, that's the most recent version. It has not been updated. So I'm just looking through there. No, there's nothing. So we're still waiting for photographs on any of these, but going down here, we have got there was a class 45. Was it the sealed beam head code that people have been asking for? I'm just looking down the list. We've got 45.0 centre head code, 45.0 centre head code, 46 centre head code. No 44 announced this year, but we get the 45, but only in BR green, small yellow panels. The 46 centre head code, again, I'm going to wait and see how much it costs in sound fitted before I make a decision on that. I suspect it's very expensive. Mark Herbert, sorry for you to have to go back to work. I'm sure you're sorry to go back to work as well. I don't think there's many people who choose to willingly go to work if they didn't have to. But you have yourself a good day. I'm really sorry that we're starved of information here, which is a damn shame, really. But what else can you do? I'm going to see if that other thread has produced any more pictures, but it seems that Phil Parker has very different interests to the rest of us because we've had 3 photos so far. So, why are we getting pictures of scantily clad thin women on choppers? And that, unfortunately, is RM Web for you. You can trust me that when I had a chopper, I didn't dress like that on it. Oh, you get oil from the chain all up your legs. So, yeah, there really is no real news coming in. I'm going to keep flicking back. I'll be, in all honesty with you, I'm looking at, we've been here an hour and a half. I think that we're not going to get any pictures through from Bachmann. So, let's have a look. Just Alt Command 3. There we go. I think the problem is we're not going to get those pictures, and without the pictures, it's very difficult to kind of get a sense of what we're actually going to be getting from these. There's a lot of wagons as well. Excuse me. So the BRRBA van in DB Cargo, I think that's actually a VBA van in its later guise as a barrier wagon, but again, I'm not entirely sure. Looking through here, I would like to also see 38-233 BR 12-ton planked ventilated van with plywood door, BR departmental rail stores. Now, I'm going to see if I can find some of these. Let's just see. Just Google is our friend. Let's see if I can find. I'm going to see if I can find some pictures. Funnily enough, I can find immediately what's come up is, let me just, 8. What's immediately come up is the prototype there. If you see my arrow there for my pointer circling, Kerno Model Centre did that as a special commission a little while ago now. They may have sold out. Good morning from the USA. Good morning, USA. Don't worry. There's a lot of people coming and going, so I wouldn't worry about it. The big news so far is that we do have a list of things that have been released, but we don't have photographs because the Bachmann website has fallen over and has not yet come back up. Let's just see. I'm just quickly trying to find if I can find a photograph of the actual rail stores wagon. And I am struggling here. Now, I know I've seen it before. And right. This would appear as if, let me just, I'm going to see if I can bring that up. This is a brilliant website. So this is the one with the air brake chassis upgrade. I don't think, yeah, this is the ZRB. But, yeah, I think another live broadcast this evening, if photos do come up, is probably in order. But what you should be seeing on your screens now is this particular wagon. And if we go back to the list, BR 12-ton planked ventilator van with plywood door, BR departmental rail stores. Now, I am hoping that is this particular wagon that you're seeing on the screen with this very distinctive two-tone green livery. And I think that is going to be one to look out for. That's it shown there, Tunbridge in 1989. And I think these were actually some quite late-lasting wagons. But in terms of the... Let's just have a look. Is there one with the... No, there it is. That's in it in 1987. That would suggest that livery is suitable from around 1987. That looks brand new there. And actually, it's not two-tone green. It's grey with the green stripe. But my guess is that is possibly the wagon that we're looking at for. But that is the standard van, and that's just in olive green. So the big question is, are we getting an olive green van, or are we getting this very distinctive liveried van? I would like it to be this livery, to be honest with you. But let's go back and see what else we can find. VGA, VDA. There's no mention of the VEV or the VEA, the van wide, which they did announce last year, I believe. There's not really anything else reaching out and grabbing me. It has to be said. It really does have to be said. Have I been to Hatton's? Yes, I've been to Hatton's many, many times. I've been going to Hatton's since the late 1980s. My dad and I used to make a pilgrimage over there. We only live over in Bolton, and back then my parents lived in Bolton. I've lived all over since, but I moved back to Bolton. Not into my parents' house, I hasten to add. I am pushing 40, and this is my own house. I've long since moved out from Chez Parents, but back then we used to make the road trip over to Hatton's on Smithdown Road, the little tiny grotto of a shop, and we would frisk all the second-hand stuff looking for Hornby 00. And that went on through until probably about 2000, 2001 maybe. And then the collecting of Hornby 00 slipped, probably actually earlier than that. Probably about 2000, we kind of started to lose interest because of the difficulty of getting stuff and the prices of the rare items that we didn't already have. And then I've been when they moved to the shop that used to be, I think it was a sofa shop, and then they bought it was a bigger premises. I remember going there. And then I've also been to the new one in Widnes. Have I been to Rails of Sheffield? No, I haven't. I've dealt with the mail order, but I've not actually been into the shop. I've driven past the shop with some work I was doing. I was going through Sheffield to another destination, and it's like blink and you miss it. Oh, that's where they are. When I was doing, I did a charity build of a model railway in Sheffield, but I, due to work commitments, arrived just too late to go on a trip to Rails to pick up a load of scenery stuff. So I arrived just as they arrived back, so I didn't get an opportunity then. But I have been to a good number of model shops around the country. I like to think I'm very well travelled. Not so many down south, although I have been to a couple that were in Brighton at the time when I was down in Brighton. There used to be a model zone there. It will have gone now as model zone's gone bust. But there was also another little model shop as well. I remember just down from BBC radio, the BBC place. I've been to Invicta Models. I've been to the Signal Box in Kent. 53A models in Hull. And lots of model shops that have since gone, like Farnworth Model Centre. I used to be a regular of there. And there used to be a shop in Milnes Bridge Models. I remember going there a lot. Model Rail Burnley, used to go there a lot. Transport Models in Preston, been there a lot. Arcadia and Shore I go to a lot. There's two model shops in Bolton. The one at Holton Lane Ends, just called the Model Centre, I go there a lot. Bolton Model Mart in the centre of Bolton. I do support that shop too. I used to go to a one over in Horwich from time to time, but I believe that's closed now. Yeah, I've been all over. I'm rabbiting now. I'm basically stringing this out because let's have one last look on the Bachmann website. And has it updated? Yeah, I've been to Tower Models in Blackpool. I went there with my father principally to get a load of O-gauge stuff. So we got a load of Daypol vans in O-gauge from Tower Models. It's not far from the tower itself, and we went. Zoe actually accompanied us on a rare trip. My father and I went to the model shop, and Zoe went hunting for her classic games, which I'm looking at the picture actually. You don't see much of the room around me, but I'm just fiddling off the shelves. This is Zoe's love, and that's PlayStation 2 games. Well, anything retro computer games. Oh, heck, I'm not getting that back in there. There we go. She collects PS2 games. Some London Underground models from Metro Models' website. I'll be honest, London Underground, I don't find it that titillating. I've travelled on the Underground an awful lot, but it's a bit like modern era units and stuff. It doesn't push my buttons. I'm sorry, but it's not really my thing. I have a cut-off point of about 1990, but even saying that, I sold my provincial liveried Class 150 because even though that fits within the time period that I model, I just wasn't interested. The HST as well is one that I've not gone for. The APT, not gone for that. I know Rapido Models did one for the NRM, and it's just not really my bag. And there's certain locomotives as well, Class 47s. I don't have any Class 47s, and it doesn't really do anything for me, I have to say. Class 56s, again, they go back to the 1970s, and not really my thing. Trying to think, really. Yeah, I know what I like, and I like what I like. Bit old fashioned, really. Right, let's one last look down the list. Anything else catching my eye? Nothing really. One plank wagon LNER bauxite with LNER blue BD container. Yeah, I think we've had one of them before. A lot of these are just new numbers on existing liveries. There is nothing much reaching out and grabbing me. I think that the rail stores van, if it turns out to be the livery that you're seeing on your screens now, if it's that livery, then that will become a must-have item for me. If it turns out to be that livery, then yeah, I'll probably still get it, but it's not as reaching out and grabbing me as that livery. Do I like the Class 50? Yeah, I do quite. I did have a couple of Class 50s actually. I was persuaded to sell my large logo blue one to Brian of all people. But I've got a Network Southeast one which I do quite like. I do like kettles, but I do like certain diesels. I really like Class 25s, 24s. Class 20s I'm going to like, and a lot of diesel shunters. But I'm going to call it a session on this. We're not getting any new information through from Bachmann. We're going to have one last go at refreshing their page. But what we'll probably do is I'll come back tonight, later on this evening, maybe try and do another live stream then. Hopefully we'll have got some pictures from the Bachmann website, and that'll give us something that we can really talk about, because without an actual proper livery, things like the C-Class and the SECR livery, are we going to see it like we've got here on the cover of the Graham Farish catalogue with the simplified livery, or are we going to see that full fat version that everybody really, really wanted? Jonathan Cliff, thank you very much. I like to know a little bit about everything if I can. One of those horrible know-it-alls that's really devastating to play Trivial Pursuit against. No, we're not getting anything out of the Bachmann website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a night. A night? No, I'm going to call it a afternoon, I think. Let's just wait and see if anything comes up on that picture. I've forced a refresh. Next live stream, I'm going to say 7 o'clock tonight. If we say 7 o'clock tonight, that gives plenty of time for any pictures to filter through, either from the press event that's going on. But yeah, there's nothing new coming through from Bachmann. So hopefully we'll catch up with you all 7 o'clock tonight. So it starts at 3 p.m. UK. What's 3 p.m. UK? Well, the Bachmann announcement was midday. Have they pushed it back then? Because it was supposed to be midday. I'm going to see if that has changed. Well, the event is on in London at the moment. Let me just try and find that link. God, it's probably nausea-inducing if you're not actually controlling the mouse. Let's see if any new pictures have turned up. I'm just going to scroll through past the scantily clad women that people keep posting. No, there's nothing on there. Right, anyway, look, I'll see you tonight about 7 o'clock-ish. Hopefully we'll get some pictures through then and see where we get to. Anyway, look, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share it too, and also subscribe to the channel, and you'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. But until tonight, 7 o'clock, you take really good care of yourself, and hopefully see you back here then. Bye for now.